and then it'll go from there. It'll go from a stupid tweet. Let's see. Do-do-do-do-do. Um. Oh God, we can even talk about baseball too.
I was about to tell you, baseball season's over, officially over for us, right?
Yeah, I'm
You know,
100%
you
done with
know,
baseball.
do you know that there's only like three teams that have not won a game so
I'm
far?
assuming two of them are the Mets and the Sox.
White Sox and the Mets. Yes, they have not won a
I was
game
looking
all
at the thing,
season.
and I'm like, I don't know when the White Sox will win a game.
The Mets yesterday 0-0 going like into the 10th
Mm-hmm.
inning, right? They picked a shutout all game. 5 runs they gave up in the 10th and lost 5-0.
Opening day, the White Sox versus the Tigers. I think they're the first team to ever do this in an opening day game. Scored 0 runs, had 0 extra base hits, had no walks, and 10 strikeouts. Who
That's
wants to
not,
watch that ever? It is so terrible. And
it, I'm not gonna. I'd much rather watch that than my team give a 14-run third inning, which happened. That ending lasted like 30 minutes, 45 minutes on opening day. Imagine you sitting there watching your team get
yeah,
shellacked for 45
that's tough.
minutes.
But you know what? The White Sox lost on that opening day. The final score was one
This
to
was
nothing.
it. Oh, I hate those games.
They gave up a solo home run to somebody. Don't matter.
Yep. That's it's gonna be the Mets season.
Mm.
I don't know what's
Well,
gonna
that
happen. So officially,
they were
baseball's
getting into
over. I think.
brawls. They were throwing at people. The Mets had a rough opening 3 days. Brewers made them look pretty silly. And they
Wasn't good.
started that fight
Wasn't good.
over just a what was it? Was it a slide into second base? There was a fight.
I didn't
Was
even
that the
see it.
Mets? I can't remember. But yeah, like then they threw at a dude that had already hit like 7 home runs against him already in like 2 games. Like, why are you throwing at him
I'm
now?
still,
And it wasn't like kind of at him; it was behind his head. It was almost a wild throw at somebody, right? Like, I'm throwing at you and I miss the target. I'm a professional pitcher. Oh,
I saw somebody. Guy goes in, does a bush league. I guess they would call it bush league play at first, where a guy catches it and he kind of tries to hit the ball out of
oh, that's A
a
Rod.
we'll call it an
Yeah.
A Rod. Yes, we'll call it an A Rod, right? It looked horrible, but he hit the guy's arm. It looked bad. Hit next time he goes at the bat, pitcher hits him with 99-mile-an-hour fastball right in the small of his back. I was like,
That
oh,
hurts.
it hurts. It can't. That hurt.
Oh my god.
Right. And the only reason why you can get away with that is because the minute I charge after you, it's 9-on-1. Right? That's really what the
Yeah.
problem is. It's 9-on-1. I got more people that's gonna come out. They're gonna take some
Yeah.
time. They're
They're getting
gonna
cut off
take
at the
some
pass.
time. Yes, especially when the pitcher knows the ball's coming in
Mm-hmm.
at you. Right? The pitch, I'm not the pitcher. The
Yeah.
catcher knows, so the catcher's got his
Yep.
back. Should have his back. First baseman should have his
Mm-hmm.
back. So now you got to wait for your whole team to go out there and
Mm.
you get knuckled up.
Yeah, you
You,
do.
you
You
know.
ain't be square up lefty. You get dropped. Um, yeah, I saw that. That reminded me. I saw this. I liked some sort of baseball thing on Twitter, and now I get all these crazy like baseball coaching things. And it was this video. These two people in batting cages. One was an adult man. One was like a teenage kid on the right side. They're both bunting for whatever reason in the batting cages. And the
Okay.
guys, the guy on the adult on the left, he's just squared up and bunting. The kid on the right, he squares up and he bunts and he takes it right in the throat. I swear to God, he Billy Madison it, man. But you hear him go, ah! Oh, that kid, and it wasn't like an automatic pitching machine either. It was somebody was feeding balls. It was one of those whatever those are called.
uh,
I don't even know. With the
Did it bounce? Did it take a bad bounce and pop him in the
No,
chest or the
he
throat?
just got it right in the throat.
He just leaned
Squared
into
up and got him
it.
right in the throat.
Oh,
I mean, so you know that has
oh,
to hurt.
oh, of course it does. Of course it does. Oh,
Oh, it,
I remember I was in the batting cage and I was like, I think that's a curveball. Someone was like, it can't throw a curve. I was like, you ever been in the batting cage and like, is that ball gonna hit me? Am I too close to the That's how I felt. Even though it's just coming straight, it's got barely any spin on it.
Yeah. Yeah. It is. It's being thrown by a machine that can only throw straight.
It can only throw
It's a
straight.
big metal
I'm like,
arm,
that ball different.
just a catapult.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, poor kid.
But yeah, well, what's the countdown? What do we have? 2, 3 more weeks to the draft?
Yeah. It is 3 weeks from Thursday, so we have 24 days.
Oh God.
I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it because I am not kidding you. I turned on whatever the NFL Network had on, like their evening weekly countdown to the draft, and then if I see one more person unironically suggest that the Bears should draft Jaden Daniels at 1, I am going to burn my iPad in a big pile of fire. I just don't know.
That's what this time period is for, right? It's for people to now, the same people who in January said Caleb Williams is going to the Bears, right? They can't keep beating a dead horse, so now they just say dumb stuff, or not dumb stuff, but stuff that you're going to click on it. You're going to be like, why would they take Jaden Daniels at 1?
There's no reason to take Jaden Daniels at 1. If the Bears are at 1 and they do not take Caleb Williams, then it's a gross whatever. Like everyone should be fired instantly, I think.
Yeah. Or at least not checked into a mental place, but at least be evaluated. Yeah.
Yes. So, like,
because what's the whole point of doing everything that you did?
There's so one of my favorite things about this period in between the end of the season and then the draft, and like so it goes whatever, and then you got the pro days, but then you have the top 30 visits. Every team gets 30 people, they get 30 prospects they can bring in that aren't local. So like local schools don't count against. So like the Bears get like Notre Dame and Northwestern and Illinois and Wisconsin, and those schools don't count against the top 30 picks. But they have to fly in. They get to fly in prospects and show them the facilities and talk to them. It's like a longer, like it's an all day process sort of thing, and you get to know your thing. And you only get 30 of them, right? I think it's 30. And so last year the Bears brought in a bunch of people, and they end up drafting 4 of their top 30. So I like the lists, right? I like to see who the top 30s are. And now the Bears are currently sitting with their top 30. And I'm going to steal this from another podcast because they made a nice graphic for it. And it has their top 30s. Now, if the Bears were not going to draft Caleb Williams and they were going to draft any other quarterback, you'd think they would have him in for a visit. Well, guess what? They haven't. They've had Caleb Williams. He's the only quarterback they've had in. And then they've had Dallas Turner, a defensive end, Chop Robinson, a defensive end. They've had multiple tight ends, multiple cornerbacks. They've had an offensive tackle. They've had Roma Dunze in. Like they've had all these people in, but none of them were a quarterback except for Caleb Williams. They've only gone to one pro day in earnest of a quarterback to scout the quarterback, and that's Caleb Williams. They went to LSU's pro day, but guess what? It's LSU.
They weren't looking at it.
They went to Michigan's pro day, but guess what? There's like 30 people from Michigan in the draft this year, right? That are probably going to get drafted. They did not go to North Carolina. They're not drafting anybody other than Caleb Williams. So Dan Orlovsky and Cynthia Freeland and all these people that go on TV and say, I think the Bears should really draft Jaden Daniels. Just stop. It's not happening. Because Jaden Daniels is just Justin Fields light. He's the same style player, but smaller.
Yes.
And looks like he's going to break in half if you hit him. So, whatever.
Yeah, I saw something that said that either I can't remember who they went. The Giants, I think, went to
Mm-hmm.
LSU, did not interview the quarterback
No.
at the place. I think they flew him out for didn't they might have they've interviewed him, but they didn't interview him at his pro day. They were there to see other people at the pro
Let me
day.
see if I can find a New York Giants top 30. Top 30.
I heard they just talked to Michael Penix, uh, which that's what I said. It was like, hey, what if the Giants were to take a wide receiver and then Penix at second round? I've heard some Giants fans like, don't do that. Don't do that. I don't mind it.
Michael Penix?
Yeah. And as a second rounder,
I don't think he makes it to the second round, though. But we'll see.
they were talking about this guy said in his draft that he was doing Bo Nix and him both made it to the second round.
No, maybe it's possible. Let's see. I'm trying to find this New York Giants 30 visits.
I just don't see. You see six quarterbacks going in the first
I
round?
guarantee there's at least 4. And they might be the top 4 picks.
Four I can see. Because everyone's in love with JJ McCarthy. So I can see that. But taking a first round pick on Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr. to me seems like that seems a little high.
So as of when was this article written? Oh, it's March 10th. Jesus Christ. Come on. Come on, New York Giants draft blog. Big Blue View. Give me something.
Oh, I like Big View.
30 visit. There we go. Top 30 visits tracker. I was going to screw up my whole entire Google Chrome, though.
The algorithm.
Nothing but.
The Big Blue View.
All right. The New York Giants. Verified top 30 visits. Adiza Isaac, defensive end from Penn State. Chow Smith Wade, cornerback, Washington State. Drake May, quarterback, North Carolina. J.J. McCarthy, quarterback, Michigan. Christian Boyd, defensive tackle, Northern Iowa. Malik Neighbors, wide receiver, LSU. Marvin Harrison Jr., wide receiver, Ohio State. Michael Penix Jr., quarterback from Washington. Rome Odunze, wide receiver, Washington. And Tyrese Knight, linebacker, UTEP.
Never heard that guy.
No.
But I think the Giants are doing their due diligence on quarterbacks just in case something is there, which is fine. But I would be shocked and upset. I'm not going to just throw shocked out. I'd be upset if a wide receiver is not the pick at 6.
What if?
There's no way they can't take all 3 of them for you, right? Right? Because they could, but I'm making the assumption that there's going to be 3 quarterbacks going in the top 6.
I assume there's 3 quarterbacks going 1, 2, 3 at least minimum.
I assume that as well. Who can throw a monkey wrench in that plan? I don't know. I'll tell you who. The Washington Commanders just do stupid stuff all the time.
Well,
right?
It's a new regime that's willing to do stupid stuff. So
yeah. So you think they have to go quarterback?
And I assume it's Jaden Daniels, and I don't think that's the right pick, but that's I think who they're going to take. And then I think the Patriots are there at 3, and are the Patriots willing to trade down, or are they going to take whatever quarterback's there? Like I don't know what quarterback they want, but I don't know why they wouldn't want Drake May. But I guess if they don't, whatever. I'm not a scout, whatever. So if now New England has many holes to fill.
So you think that if someone's going to go back,
maybe them.
Seems like it'd be
maybe them, and they would probably jump out for Minnesota and get Minnesota's picks.
Like, I'd hate to look like this, right? Look at it this way. You have to build, if you're the GM or a team, and let's not just say the Patriots, you have to build for the future, right? Like, you can't build for this year or next year or even really. I'm looking at it like this. Josh Allen's going to be in your division. He ain't going in.
Nope.
You might be better than the Jets, the Miami's probably not going. You could assume that whoever you draft next year is not getting you to the playoffs. You can make that
Yeah.
assumption, right? So I'll wait. I'll wait 2 more years. I'll wait. I'll get my guy later. I I I know you don't want to say it, but they'll probably be last in the
Oh
division
yeah,
again.
for sure.
They'll probably not win 7 games. I'd like to see what the over and under is for them for their game total. The over under for Vegas for the Giants is 6.5, and I was like, I don't know which one where I'd go. But that's what Vegas said for the Giants. It's got to be like 5 for the Patriots because
Well, let me tell you. Oh God, why does it start at the top? I don't care about the top. I want the bottom, and I know I'm just gonna keep scrolling. So the Panthers are at 4.5, and the Patriots are at 4.5.
and if those teams, if Vegas thinks you're there, that means you are once again drafting in the top
Yes.
3 next year, right? So is this the quarterback you want to hitch a ride to when you could probably get some other pieces that you need this year
Mm-hmm.
and develop those other pieces? Or do you feel that the third best quarterback in this draft is the guy you want to build your franchise around?
And to call it the third best quarterback is it. Everybody's
It's
board's different, right?
the
So
third pick. We don't know what you consider third best. But if we're assuming quarterbacks are going to go 1, 2, 3, you're third. You are getting the third pick, or with the other guys, they're leftovers.
now I'm gonna be real honest. They signed Jacoby Brissett as their
Bridge.
quarterback. I maintained last year that Jacoby Brissett should have been somebody's just
He can
starter,
start.
right? Like
He can
why
start.
wasn't
He's
why
not.
wasn't he somebody's starter last year?
He's not a franchise quarterback though, so you're not going to build
No, but
around
he's
him.
a guy that if
But
you
he can
had a
start.
team
He's a starter.
and you threw him in there, you're probably if you had a playoff team and you threw him in there,
You can win a few
he's
games.
not going to tank your season. He's going to get you.
No.
He's going to get you wins, and he's going to be good. And he was good. He was good the last couple years.
Mhm.
So he's always one of those guys. I don't get why they doesn't go somewhere.
No, I like him, but I'm like you said though. I'm thinking we got a lot of holes to fill. Like, is this quarterback going to take us to the promised land year 1, year 2? Like, not with all the holes that they have. Might as well trade back to someone who wants it, if you can. If the Vikings want to move up, if some of these other teams want to move up,
the Vikings want to move up bad.
if they do, that's the team with the picks. That's the team to trade with.
You get,
but you got to act like you want that pick.
Yeah,
right?
but you gotta get them while they're desperate, right? And I think New England has a guy that they're willing to draft if he's there at 3, and if he's not there at 3, then they pull the ripcord and they parachute out of there and let whoever wants to jump up there take him.
I'll tell you this: if they ruined it for me, and now we can't, and we draft a quarterback because it went something silly like, oh, the Patriots draft Marvin Harrison Jr. and now the Chargers or Arizona's like, well, I guess we just get Roma Dunze, and then the Chargers go, I guess we get neighbors, and now the Giants are sitting at 6. And the top 3 wide receivers are going, and the Patriots made us pick a quarterback that I did not want them to have.
I'm going to tell you what, if I'm the Giants and I'm at 6 and only 2 quarterbacks have gone off the board and 3 wide receivers have, I am trading out 6 to whoever wants to jump up and grab a quarterback.
That'd be nice.
Because you're not going to drop down very far.
We can't get our run. No. Not going to drop down very far. But at that rate, right? Who are you going to go? You're going to go to, let's say, Minnesota? I still would think you want to go with Minnesota. Minnesota, whoever wants to come up. It's between Minnesota and what's the other team that they keep saying?
Broncos, maybe?
It's around that area. Is it the Broncos? I think yes, the Broncos.
Maybe the
Broncos don't have the picks. Yeah. Broncos don't have the picks,
no,
they
don't
gave them so much
this year, so that's
so they don't have the pick, so it'd be difficult. So it's really the person you're really trying to get is the Vikings. But you'd have to prove to the Vikings that you want that pick as wide receiver quarterback. Because if you don't, the Vikings are looking like, well, there's no one above below you that's going to take a quarterback.
Or you convince the
And
Vikings that there's a bidding war
between them and, but they win every bidding war. There's no one that you're bidding against. You know that the Broncos cannot put a package together that's going to move up ahead of them. And I think that's what the Vikings have to know.
What could be crazy attractive for like the Broncos is if they're giving up future draft capital because they're not going to be good next year.
How much draft capital do they have? They probably gave up. Seattle's probably still got some of their picks, or the Browns, or someone else that.
Let's see.
They gave up so much draft capital to get Wilson.
Yeah, but this is the last year of that. But then they also gave draft capital to hire Sean Payton.
So I'm just.
Oh, that's what makes them so. That's what makes them so terrible.
Inept.
Let's see. Full list of Denver Broncos 2024 draft picks. They have pick 12, pick 76, 121, 136, 140. They have a lot of fifth rounders, 145, 147, 203, and 207. That's for this year.
They have 2025. They have a first rounder. They have their second rounder, their third rounder, and their fourth.
Well, so then you get.
So you get this year's 12. They're drafting at 12, I think.
So you get 12 and 76, plus their 1 and their 2 next year, or their 1 and their next 2 ones. Like the Broncos are gonna suck, man. They're gonna be bad. And I don't care who their quarterback comes in. Like, so let's say they're in love with Drake May, and Drake May is sitting there for some reason at 6. And unless the Giants love Drake May, which they might,
I worry.
Which they might.
I worry because if the wide receivers, I believe, if the wide receivers are gone, the Giants are going to go quarterback in the first round.
Well, yeah, because that means they'll be one of the top 3 will be on the board still, and it won't be
possibly
Jane
one of the top 3.
And they might take JJ McCarthy if they get the 6.
Yes.
Even if the even if it goes 3 quarterbacks, and for some reason they might go JJ McCarthy, which
correct. And I don't want this.
Scares me.
Don't want this.
Be a little scared of that.
I am. That's when you just said that, and the Patriots. It makes sense. They may not, if they don't want that pick. If they or let's say they don't trade away, because you assume anyone who trades for the 3rd pick wants a quarterback. So my worst fear would be them deciding we'll just be bad again and we'll just go get one of the top wide receivers. And they go get Marvin Harrison Jr. or one of the top. And if no one moves up, then it still goes, well, okay. Arizona's like, all right, we'll just go get one of those wide receivers. Chargers go, oh, we'll just go get one of those. And now we're sitting at 6. And the same thing will happen like when we lost to Devontae Smith. We're twiddling our thumbs and we don't know what to do. And we've been proven that they trade back when they don't know what to do. When they don't know what to do, they trade back. If we trade back to 11 or 12 and they want to take JJ McCarthy, I'm fine with it. I don't really want him. But I don't
think you want that either. I don't think you want him anywhere.
I don't. Right? But I don't know what else they want. What else they're going to get? What else do they want?
I don't know.
They need a wide receiver. If the worst thing that they're going to pick a quarterback. They're going to take one. I don't want a quarterback.
Now, what if they do this? Now, I thought of this. One of the big crazes from the last handful of years of drafts is if you have a quarterback, you draft their complementary wide receiver. Or, like, who would you play quarterback with? Well, we'll get Jalen Waddle for Tua, and we'll do this and we'll do that, right? And it's happened quite a bit in the last couple of years. Ever since they drafted, what's-his-face for Burrow. They drafted Jamar Chase for Joe Burrow. It's happened a lot. Like, it feels like a lot. Even in the same draft. Now, what if, right? Let's say it goes Caleb, it goes Daniels. It doesn't matter. But you have Rome Odunze and let's say Malik Neighbors are both at 6, and then the Giants take Rome Odunze, and then they take
Yeah.
Michael Penix Jr.
I said that 2 weeks ago on the
in
show.
the second round. Yeah,
That's what I like that. I don't hate that. I saw that in a pick today. I'm not a huge. The problem with Penix is his injuries.
and he's like 30.
that's I guess that could be a problem. I
mean, I think he's played. I think he's played college ball for like 5 or 6 years. I'm not even exaggerating on that.
But so is what's
Jane
his
Daniels.
name?
I know.
Yeah, so Jane Daniels. They have him as he's 23 years old.
Oh, that's not nearly as bad as I thought it was. Maybe it's Bo Nix that I'm
that's
thinking
still,
of. That's like 100 years old.
Bo Nix is old. Yes.
Yeah, well,
he's 24.
It's ancient.
And wait, and he's only a couple days. He just turned 24. Yeah. So Michael Penix turns 24 May 8th. So he's the same, pretty much the same age.
They are the same age.
They're the same age.
But I mean, 24. You go to college when you're 18, right? So
18.
So they had like 5-6 years of college ball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I like Michael Penix Jr. I think he might be a
Michael Penix Jr. First year 2018. He had 6 years of college ball he played.
Wow. Oh, well, you get that extra year for pandemic. And what did he redshirt? Well, no, because you don't play when you redshirt.
You can.
Oh, do you?
You can. The redshirt rules are you can play a certain amount of games. If you only play like a few games, 1 or 2 games, you can still call it a redshirt year. So let's say he has a redshirt year in 2018. He has a pandemic year in 2021. And that's pretty much been his his numbers ain't bad.
No, he's all right. Yeah, I'd say he's pretty good. Like
he threw for 4,600 yards and 4,900 yards. Yeah, get him. He can we can get him in the second round. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I mean he had a really good year last
year. His injuries though, I think both his knees have been destroyed.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, he had 4 years at Indiana and 2 years in Washington. Freshman, sophomore, junior. He had 2 freshman years and 2 junior years. I guess if you don't play that many games I don't know how college football works and eligibility works.
He had he could have had injuries. He's had 2 torn ACLs and 2 shoulder issues, so he could have had a medical red shirt.
Yeah, that's tough.
Which would, 2 torn ACLs. The same ACL.
Yeah, that's tough.
That could have been a bad.
I'm gonna tell you
bad surgery.
If you're sitting in that spot, and there's a guy that has known history of injuries, and he's only 24, it's not gonna get better. I don't think.
Yeah,
but I mean, I guess he could. But he's had 2.
Frank Gore had 2 before he got to the NFL, I believe.
Yeah, that's true.
And then had a 20-year career.
Yeah, that's true too. But he's the outlier, right?
And he plays a running back position. Like we really, it's the shoulder issues I'm more worried about with Michael Penix versus the ACL.
Well, I mean, you need to be able to stand to throw.
I do.
Yeah.
But those injuries, he's also played 2 seasons post those injuries and has posted ridiculous stats those 2 seasons.
Yeah. I mean, he's really good. And like Washington always has a good program. So for him to come in and do that.
Like if we can get Rome Odunze and then get Michael, I'm not gonna be mad. But also, I'm not gonna be mad if we can get Neighbors and a wide receiver needs to be drafted at 6. One of those 3 needs to be drafted at 6. If the Patriots screw me, so help me.
I mean, man, it's tough. Like the Patriots are so weird. I don't know what they're gonna do because like drafting quarterback. Okay, cool. You're in the top 3. There's quarterbacks. You need a quarterback. Get one. Makes sense. Cool. Top 3, drafting a wide receiver doesn't make as much sense because you don't have a quarterback, right? Like you would think you'd want to build your trenches. So like, let's say they took Joe Alt. Like, I until the Chargers don't take Joe Alt,
Joe Alt.
I won't believe it until I see them not take Joel. Especially, I saw an interview with Jim Harbaugh, and he was talking about how important the offensive line is, and the unsung whatever. And that's how you build your team is from your offensive line. And even if people don't want to admit the offensive line are helpful, they're like the most important thing. You know, even the defensive guys,
Right.
right? You don't want to be constantly having your team go three and out. Jim Harbaugh's old school. Jim Harbaugh is a
Yeah.
run first offensive guy. Always has been.
Mm-hmm.
Even when he's in San Francisco and when he's in Michigan, he's always one of the lower throw percentage offenses.
He's got
I know.
Justin Herbert
I
on a huge
understand that. I
contract.
understand that. I'm just telling you. And now,
The team that he picked to go to, they he decided that's where he wants to go. You can't go there and decide I'm just going. Guess what? We're throwing the ball 28 times and we're running 25. No, that's not gonna work with Justin Herbert back there.
here's the thing. I think Harbaugh went there because he had no other options and he wanted to get out of college.
He had options. He had options.
Okay, options that weren't abysmal. I think I
Atlanta was not abysmal.
yeah, they don't have a quarterback.
It doesn't have. Yeah, but that's all the Chargers have at this
It
point in
is
time.
true.
And a defense. They do have a solid defense. But they don't have anything. They lost all those pieces that he had when he signed. Austin Eckler, not there. Mike Williams, not there. Keenan Allen, not there. He only has his quarterback now.
Do you know who their offensive coordinator is?
Was it Staley?
No, Staley's gone. It's Greg Roman. You know, Greg Roman was the offensive coordinator for the Baltimore Ravens before they got rid of him.
Mm-hmm.
He is also a run first offensive coordinator. I'm telling you,
Tackle?
they're going tackle. There's no doubt in my mind. If they don't go tackle, that means they've traded out of the spot, or
No.
Jim Harbaugh is
They
being
are-
held captive. And
They are in a division with the Kansas City
understand that.
Chiefs. They have to win. And they're watching, they're actually in a division where everyone, minus the Broncos, actually not everyone. You can only say the Raiders might actually be better than them. With no quarterback.
well, no, they have
With
Aiden
no
O'Connell, the
quarterback.
best quarterback to come out of
They come on-
Purdue since Drew Brees.
Tony Romo? Is Tony Romo?
No, Tony Romo came out of Eastern Illinois University.
Oh, Eastern Illinois. Okay, yes. But like, I think they know that they have to compete.
Sure.
And yes, if you are Harbaugh, you do want to build from the trenches, but it's gonna be difficult. It's going to be difficult to build from the trenches and then have no one to throw the ball
I'm telling
to.
you though, it's a deep wide receiver draft. It's also deep. It's also a
might-
deep offensive tackle draft though too. So it depends on which way they want to go, but it's tough. You very rarely do you. Well, you hope that very rarely you find yourself in the top 10, let alone the top 5.
Mhm.
There's probably less than 10 guys that you would call blue chip, maybe a few more, but they're all on the offensive side of the ball. I don't think there's any defensive blue chippers this year.
That's what I'm saying. Them sitting there letting Mike Williams and Allen go base screams, "Oh, we're finding your replacement in the draft.
It also
Your cheaper, younger
yeah,
replacement
but you
in the
can
draft."
find even, man, like, I don't know. It's really tough. It's really tough for me to because I would justify both, right? Like if they went Marvin Harrison Jr., they went best wide receiver at that spot at 5, you don't blame them. That's fine. If they went best offensive tackle at that spot and then there's a lot of really good late first, second round wide receivers in the draft too.
You could probably get a good one, but am I gonna get an all pro?
You don't know. right? I mean,
You don't
like you
know.
don't know.
There's all pros everywhere, like
Puka
Puka.
Nakua is a fifth rounder, right? Like you don't expect that.
That's what I'm saying. So you can find all pros
Hmm.
third, second, and third round. But you talked about the blue chippers.
There's yeah,
Those three should be blue chippers
yeah,
because we wouldn't be if they weren't that good. We wouldn't be talking about them in the
mm,
top three. The next three off
yeah.
the board. You know what I'm saying?
I saw
Think about the talent they had last year. Wide receivers didn't start going to like
I saw
20.
somebody comp.
And that was a talent-rich wide receiver
I saw
draft.
somebody comp the top three receivers to NFL comp 'em. And I want to say like Marvin Harrison Jr. was comped to it was like a Pro Bowl Hall of Fame quarter wide receiver. Okay, great. Malik Neighbors was comped to Justin Jefferson, and but then Roma Dunze was comped to Larry Fitzgerald. I'm like how you there isn't a single one of these choices that's bad. I think it just depends on what your needs are in your scheme.
What you want.
Right? Like if you already have Justin Jefferson, do you need two Justin Jeffersons, or would you rather have that find the soft spot in the zone slot guy? Right? Like
Like,
that's what Justin Jefferson
as much as
too. So it doesn't matter. I don't know.
as much as I like Neighbors, and I think he's probably the second best wide receiver on my list. Like my list, it goes Marvin Harris Jr., Neighbors, then it goes Rome. As far as people the Giants should pick, and again it goes to height. It's got to be Rome or Marvin Harris. Like I like what Neighbors does. It's just it feels I don't know. Maybe I'm off. He just I want a taller. I'm tired. I want a taller guy. He can play the slide. He can play the outside, but I want that tall wide receiver that's gonna make you push a guy over the top to play to play.
That's Malik Neighbors.
He's just 6 foot.
Neighbors is?
What was this? Yeah, yeah. He's the shortest one out of those three.
I could have swore that that's right. He's like 6 foot and 7/8 or something like that. But didn't he have like a 44-inch vertical or something ridiculous like that?
If he'd had one of those, then he's back on the list. So yeah, they have him at 6'2", 201, which is it's not a small size for a wide receiver. But Marvin Harrison comes in at 6'4", 205, and Rome is 6'3", 216. That's what I want right there.
I was trying to find that comps, but I'm not gonna be able to find it. Okay, so Malik Neighbors ran a 4.35 as pro day.
That's
It
fast.
is fast, and he had like a crazy vert too. Hold on, I gotta find it. 4.3 unofficial 40.
38-inch vert, they said.
He's 6 feet on the nose. Well, almost on the 6 feet and a quarter inch.
Wait, this says he had a 42-inch vertical.
Yeah, it was like a huge.
Or 6 days ago. Further, he had a truly unbelievable 42-inch vert.
Yeah, 42-inch vertical.
Yeah.
Yep. Here, do you want to see it?
It reminds me of myself. It's
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Right? 42-inch vert.
Pretty good.
4.3. Okay, so 6 feet.
4.3 is.
So 6
It
feet.
says
4.3 and a half. 4.35, 40, and a 42-inch vertical. So he's a burner, and he goes up and gets it,
And he can go up and get it.
and he just catches it.
And he runs amazing routes
He's a
as
great
well.
route
He
runner,
runs good routes.
He's like an amazing wide receiver prospect, and he just so happens to be in the same draft as Marvin Harrison Jr.
I'm gonna tell you, why? All right, I keep going back and forth. It's that Tiger, it's that LSU. Those wide receivers from LSU, you can't go wrong with them, in my opinion.
And I told you that before, and you're like, boy, if I can get Marvin Harrison Jr., if I can get 1A, I get 1A. I'm like, but 1B is like only like it might be 1A. It's like if it's not like it's very negligible between the two. And like I'm going to assume like I don't know if this is like also prospect fatigue, just like Caleb Caleb's top wide quarterback. I don't know if it's the same thing with the wide receiver or not. Whereas like people are arguing that it could be any one of the three could be the top wide receiver off.
Yes, I still think that's the case.
And
not in my bias.
up until a month ago, it was Marvin Harrison Jr. is the undisputed number one wide receiver off the board.
Yeah.
But man, the more you see of Malik Neighbors, how can you be like, if that's what you have to settle for?
Settle for? Yeah, exactly.
Like,
Listen,
like it's
you
not
give me
settling.
any one of those three, I'm happy.
Yes. And
It would be tragic, like not tragic, but it'd be tough if I had to pick from those three.
yes.
Right? Like, let's say you're the fourth pick, and now you're sitting there. Now it's tough. Like, who do we get? Do we get Rome? Do we get Neighbors? Do we get Marvin Harris Jr.? Well, all the guesswork is out for the Giants. You don't have to guess. Whoever's left, you grab and you just be good with it. It would be tough if you were the fourth pick and you had to pick between those three. Other people are going to make our job easier. I'm okay with any of those three.
So let's say it doesn't happen that way. So let's say it goes 1, 2, 3 quarterbacks.
Okay.
Cardinals trade out with the Vikings, and they take J.J. McCarthy or Drake May, whichever one's left. Then my beloved Chargers go Joe Alt.
Joe Alt.
To me, that feels like a very plausible course.
If the Chargers were to go Joe Alt in that standpoint, in that situation, they were always going to go Joe Alt.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. That means they were always going to go Joe Alt, and that was their pick from jump. Because I can't see how, if you're the Chargers, now you get to pick from any one of those three. You don't pick any of them.
You could also have the same level of generational. God, I hate the word. The same level of same high prospect level potential, like immediate impact, immediate Pro Bowl left tackle, and that could be your left tackle for the next 15 years.
What 15 years?
Right.
Yes.
Like think of the Browns and when they drafted Joe Thomas. If there's not a single time that they regretted taking Joe Thomas
it's
as
correct.
a draft pick, right? Like, what if Joe Alt is that same
You won't
level,
regret it.
right?
You're right.
Like,
You're right.
I don't know if he is or not, but what if he is? Like, there's not a moment the Chargers would regret pairing up Joe Alt with Rashawn Slater, and you have bookend tackles for the next 15 years.
It's
Right?
possible. And if that's the case, now the Giants are stuck in that situation I just mentioned.
That's why I laid that out for you.
Of course. And the way you played it out, it's doable.
I think so.
Arizona Cardinals trading out of that spot
Arizona's got a lot of holes too.
Tough.
They need a lot of, and it's a deep wide receiver draft, right? So they'd be only dropping from 4 to 11, and then picking up like I think 23 or 27. I can't remember.
Now I have to look at the whole draft. I've been focusing on just the top 6 and then who's a little bit, but now I need to find because now I need to know that changes the draft.
Yeah, it does.
Because if those 3 are on the board
At 6,
what are those? Yeah, at 6, and the Giants have to take one of them. They get to pick, but then do the next ones go 7, 8, 6, 7, 8? I don't know the teams.
well, the Falcons are at 8, and they are in defensive need mode. 7 is who is 7?
7's Tennessee Titans.
Yes.
Oh no! So all right, check this out. I would be so pissed. In that scenario, it's possible that the Bears get one of those 3 people.
I know.
Is that why you've been putting Joe Alt to the
No.
Chargers?
Well, yeah, I love the idea of the Bears getting one of those 3.
It's a good pick. Mm-hmm.
Love.
And that's the way that you can. You've been trying to figure out ways that you could get those 3. And in this situation, you get one of those 3. Now you're in the Giants position where we don't care which one of them is left over.
I'm going to tell you a little secret. I've been secretly willing a lot of the Bears' moves, the Bears' luck over the last couple of years. When they were going bad 2 years ago, it's like, oh man, they're going to get that first pick, and they could trade it out. And I was trying to figure out all the ways that could happen. And then when Lovie Smith, former Chicago Bear, led his Houston Texans to an improbable and totally unnecessary fourth quarter come from behind, last second Hail Mary win.
The best thing that ever
The
happened to
best
them.
to the Texans and the
It,
Bears. It is
yep.
two absolute franchise
Yep.
changing moves. And that
Correct.
happened. I was like, holy cow. I was like, I can't believe this happened. I remember exactly where I was at. It was Hadley's last basketball game of the season. We went out to lunch afterwards. My dad came up for the game, so we're at this little cafe in some little podunk Wisconsin town. Very good sandwich. And I'm watching it, and I'm like, oh man, the Texans are going to win. And I was like, oh man, the Texans are going to lose. Oh man, the Texans are going to win. Oh man, the Texans are going to win. And then, oh man, the Texans won, and it was the Bears. I can't, I still can't believe it. And then I was like, they're going to trade out. They're going to trade out this pick, and they're going to get a haul. People are like, oh, they're not going to get that much. Who wants to trade up? And you just got to find the one desperate team,
Yep.
and the Panthers.
It's Carolina Panthers.
Then during preseason, hey, we've been talking about this preseason. Like how weirdly invested I was in the Panthers. I'm like, they're really bad. They might get the Bears the number one pick again. People are like, no, it's impossible. It's insane. And they did it. So now I'm just saying what's going to happen.
You gotta.
The Bears are.
There's a lot of goodwill that's been out there, so your luck has got to be running out.
Parlaying it. So the Bears are going to get one of the top three receivers are going to be there at 9. And if they're not, that means that Joe Alt is available. And if Joe Alt is available, then you take that.
Does that mean Joe Alt's available? Yes. He's got to get past Tennessee and Atlanta.
I don't think Tennessee or Atlanta are in the getting wide receivers game right now.
You think they are?
I don't think either are.
No, but I'm saying, then Joe Alt would be one of their picks.
Yes, so that means the wide receivers there at 9.
No, well, it depends on what are you talking about. So, okay. So you're saying Arizona traded their pick. Arizona has traded their pick out to, let's say, Minnesota Vikings. So the Minnesota Vikings go out and get the quarterback that they
4 quarterbacks have to go in the top 8 for the Bears to get one of the wide receivers, I think.
Yes. But you're saying that you don't think that the Tennessee Titans or the Atlanta Falcons want a wide receiver. Tennessee Titans have who?
They actually have a team. Hold on. Tennessee Titans wide receivers. They have. That's as of November 6th. Why would I want that? Tennessee Titans 2024 NFL depth chart: DeAndre Hopkins, Calvin Ridley.
Oh, never mind. Okay, they're out. They're out. They've addressed their wide receiver needs.
Who's still on a rookie contract,
yeah.
Right?
They've addressed their needs. Yep.
All right. So that's. Did they get Calvin Ridley? I thought he went to Jacksonville, but he went to Tennessee, didn't he?
No, he just got traded. He did go to Jacksonville last year, and this year he was removed.
Right. Okay, so that's their depth chart: D-Hop, Ridley, and Burks.
Yeah.
They're not in the wide receiver business.
They're not in the wide receiver market. Nope.
They're probably in the offensive line market, if I had to guess. Like they were pretty rough last year on the offensive line. I don't know what specific position.
But they also could take someone defense. They can go defense as well. Too,
right? Their defensive ends are they run a 3-4. I don't know who their edges up there. Harold Landry and Sebastian Joseph Day. I don't know who either one of those guys are. Yeah. So I mean, they could also be in the trade out business, but I doubt they would be there.
I will say that the wide receiver market for Atlanta is probably a busy one. You're looking at London Drake, Darnell Mooney, and Rondell Moore. Yeah, I would take a running back and a wide receiver if I had those.
Well, they just signed Darnell Mooney. Drake London is still a first round pick that's still on rookie contract. So they got two. They got their 1 and their 2. Right. What they don't have an edge rusher. They need defense. They have their quarterback. They have offensive weapons. They have offensive weapons galore, actually, because you have Drake London, Darnell Mooney. Let's say Kyle Pitts, hits a stride this year, having a new quarterback. You have Tyler Algier and you have Bijan Robinson in the backfield.
Bijan.
They need defensive help, right?
They could use some defensive help.
They need edge rusher. They probably need, and you're not going to take a linebacker. I don't know if there's any cornerbacks that are top 10 worthy this year.
But if you're telling me that I can have Rome Neighbors or Marvin Harrison over Darnell Mooney, and I'll just throw Mooney in the slot.
It's possible.
If you're telling me that I can have one of them, I think they're assuming that none of those guys are there, right? So we're doing the pick that none of those guys are there.
I'm telling you, just as certain as I am that the Chargers are going to go Joe Alt, I am equally as certain that the Falcons are going defense there.
But that's because you're assuming that they don't have that as even an option.
No, I don't even care. Like, I'm gonna tell you what. So
you don't care.
Let's say you take the quarterbacks out of the mix.
Quarterbacks out the mix. Joe Alt's out the mix.
Yeah, they're still going.
So
they're going defense.
That's 5. That's 5. So then one of those guys off the mix because the Giants need to take them. So, and now your next 2 pick are Tennessee, who don't need one, and really all you need is one of those teams not to pick a quarterback for one of them to get the running wide receiver for them to get to you. So even if Atlanta Falcons did take one, you still got the one of the last ones to you, and I wouldn't like you. I would not like you.
I'm gonna tell you what. If the Bears are in a pretty nice spot heading into this draft to build future success, because they're taking Caleb Williams at 1. They have a handful of needs. Wide receiver, I think, because Keenan Allen's only on a 1-year deal, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't say that wide receiver is a need position.
Not an immediate need, but they're only 2 deep at wide receiver. And granted,
There's 2 deeper than the Giants.
Those 2 are DJ Moore and Keenan Allen. 2 Pro Bowl wide receivers that both had 1,000 yards last year. Granted, it's that.
Why are we even discussing them getting? They need a wide receiver less than the Titans need a wide receiver. Why are we discussing that?
But the thing is, they do need a wide receiver. So they're at luxury, right? They're at big time luxury. They don't have a ton of like glaring holes on the offensive side, especially after you take Caleb at 1. Their glaring holes, I feel, are a 3rd wide receiver, possibly a left tackle. They have a very solid, serviceable left tackle who has been good, right, and is young, and you hope only gets better. But just like if it's like your best talent possible is there, you take him, right? And then I think edge rusher and 3 technique are two holes that they still have on the defensive side, like glaring holes. Like, oh my God, we need these pieces.
Yeah, you took one of those wide receivers. Where do you put them on that team?
It don't matter.
But you can get that. If you're looking for a slot receiver, you can find a slot receiver, like you said, later in the draft.
The Bears don't have a 2nd-round pick this year because they traded their 2nd-round pick for Montez Sweat, right? So they don't have another pick until 75. And I think there's a lot of really good bottom of the 1st, top of the 2nd wide receivers that'll be there, or even like lower in the 1st, like what's his face, the other LSU receiver,
Xavier Worthy. Yeah, and then you have Xavier Worthy in Texas.
Yep, and then you have McConkey. I'm telling you, Lad McConkey is going to be this weird, one weird first ballot Hall of Fame name, Lad McConkey. But he's one of those receivers that gets open, and he isn't one of the big guys, so he's going to be one of those. I don't want to say that word. I don't want to say scrappy because once you Google Lad McConkey and you see that he's a white guy, the word scrappy is like, that's every white guy, right? But he is like that, right? I'm trying to think of a comp for Lad McConkey that isn't
another white
like
guy,
Wes Welker or Julian Edelman. Because that's the only
Steve Smith's a shifty.
Yeah. So
Steve
hey,
Smith,
he is like Steve Smith, like I think, right? But he's a guy that'll be there. There are those guys that'll be there, but the Bears aren't there. The Bears have two top of the draft picks, and you're in that blue chip territory. And if you have blue chip, take them.
But let's just say that you're at 9, and those guys are available. What do you think you can get for that pick?
It don't matter. Like I don't move out. Like,
why don't you move out? But at 9,
because you have that opportunity then you can get blue chip player.
But then you can get back into the position of where you a wide receiver in that early second round or late. You see what I'm saying? Then you could go back there and get some of those guys.
Don't hate moving out if those wide receivers are gone and Joe Alt's gone.
But what I'm saying is wide receiver is not a need position for you. It's not a need position.
Not immediate need. But
I will tell you that when the list comes up at draft day and they talk about needs,
wide receiver won't be
wide receiver will not be there. Yeah. So if wide receiver is not there and the top 3 wide receivers are on the board, how much would a team who needs a wide receiver give you for that position?
You, when you have blue chip talent in your lap, you got to take like that, and they don't have glaring needs. They are in a best player available scenario, in my opinion, for the draft.
Not when the best players at a stacked position in your offense.
It's a very short-sighted stack.
You've got 2 Pro Bowls.
It's a very short-sighted stack. I'm telling you, Keenan Allen will not be a Bear next year. He'll be a Bear in 2024. He will not be a Bear in 2025.
That's very possible.
I guarantee that.
That's very possible.
It's not going to happen. He's 32. They're not going to give him an extension.
But then you could easily make one of those other players that are good, that's going to be late first round draft picks, and get them and get 2 more picks for that pick. And still get a top wide receiver.
Assuming the guy you like is available later on. But when a guy that you love is sitting in your lap at your spot, and that guy happens to be a top, like premier blue chip player, comped at high level at a position of.
How do you get DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and one of those 3 Roman dudes hit a ball? How do you do that?
Listen, I am not gonna sit here and have somebody argue with me that the Bears will have too many weapons for their young quarterback. Bullshit. You can't have enough weapons for your young quarterback. Listen, if they let's say they had 3 picks in the top 10 and they went Caleb Williams, Malik Neighbors, and Rome Odunze, I wouldn't be mad. I wouldn't be mad at it. I couldn't be mad at it. There's no way to be mad at that.
Yes, that's too much. You're asking for too much.
I'm just saying. They could have the top 4 picks in the draft. And if they went Caleb, Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, and Rome Odunze were the top 4 picks.
That's not how you build a team, Derek.
That's how I build my team this year.
It's not. You're missing place. There's other needs. And could you imagine it saying, even if it said wide receivers need, right? They go and they pick Marvin Harrison Jr. at 2. They had the number 1 pick, the number 2 pick. All right. Coming up at number 3 is the Bears. Whoa, we know they're not picking wide receiver because they
should probably trade out of this spot. Nope. The Bears select Malik Neighbors.
What?
Could you imagine?
Now, the 4th pick comes up. They're like,
they have to be trading out of this one, right? Or somebody different. Defense? Maybe be able to address defense? No. Rome Odunze. And you got all 4, the top 4 picks, all wearing their Bears hats. In the back, all high-five each other and dap each other up and whatnot.
So, it's too much. It's too much. Like I said, I think perfect position. That happens. Bears have to trade that pick.
The only way the Bears pick. So here's something that was came out today, and I found it was really interesting. The Bears have split up their scouting. So here's another reason why I know for a fact they're taking Caleb Williams. Now
Uh-huh.
the the draft and scouting teams have been divided into three groups. One group that is going to argue for wide receiver, one group that is going to argue for offensive tackle, and one group that is going to argue for defensive end to make their case for pick number 9.
Okay.
That is how that's how they are approaching it. Ryan Poles has approached it like those. There's only 3 possible picks that happen at 9: wide receiver, offensive tackle, defensive end.
It ain't gonna be wide receiver.
It is going to be wide receiver, and it's going to make so many people mad. And I'm going to love it. I'm going to love it for a change that the Bears might actually be good.
I'm looking, right? So I'm looking at this. Who would make a good trade partner at 9 for you? That you would you go in you're gonna stay in the first round, but you're not gonna drop. You're not gonna go that far out. I'm thinking, what about the Cardinals at 27? And I'll pick the Cardinals, pick the quarterback.
Okay.
Right?
Wait, let's do it. I'm going to...
Oh, here we go.
We're going to control the first... We're going to control the first 8. So we'll know what that is. Oh, I guess we'll have to control Minnesota too, because we're assuming that they trade up to Arizona.
Yes.
So we're in the end of the draft.
Is that where you had them going?
Yes.
Because how
Minnesota up to the
So
Cardinals.
where was the 4th pick coming?
Yep.
Who was?
So we go Caleb at 1.
Okay. Yes.
And then we go.
We can go Drake May, or we can go. Yeah, well, we only wide receiver quarterbacks had.
All right. So yeah,
we can go Jaden Daniels, or we can go.
We'll go Jaden Daniels because I feel that's what they're going to do.
Okay.
And then we have the Patriots taking a quarterback. It doesn't matter which one. We'll just give them Drake May. And then we have the Cardinals and the Vikings trading. So the Vikings give 11 and 23. And then it doesn't matter after that. Right.
Yeah, it doesn't matter, but probably a second or another late round. But
it doesn't matter. Offer trade. Yep. Okay. So now the Vikings take the other JJ McCarthy.
JJ McCarthy. Yep.
Now we have the charge on the clock.
Joe Alt
who
going.
Is 100% Joe Alt. You will not talk me in anything different. That leaves the Giants at 6. Who's your choice? Pick your poison.
I've been saying Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm going with Marvin Harrison Jr. At
Marvin
6.
Harrison Jr. Now, it says the Titans' needs are at wide receiver. I don't necessarily believe that. But I am going to go. They're going to take Olu Fashanu from Penn State. That leaves the Falcons.
We need defensive lineman / cornerback, so best DE on the board.
We're going to give them the best edge rusher, who might be Latu from UCLA, but I'm going to give him Dallas Turner because as I've seen that a lot. Now, that leaves us with this insane situation. Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunze at 9.
Yes.
And then you also have like Brock Bowers, and then you have Latu. You got some good tackles in there. Now, PFF's only going to offer me one trade, and that's from the Saints at 14. Who? Now, the Jets are going to be sitting there like, oh, ho, 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 because they're guaranteed one of those wide receivers, and I don't think they're upset about that.
They're guaranteed one of those wide receivers. Yes.
Now, and then the Cardinals at 11. Cardinals have 3 first-round picks sitting here if they did that.
Yes.
Which is kind of nice for them. Gives them some flexibility.
Yep. But this is when, for me, they're the team that trades back up to get to 9. for a wide receiver because they know that the two top wide receivers are out there. And you're telling me if they give you a pick of number 9 and number 20, what is it? 27? You wouldn't take number 9 and
Well, they're at 9,
27?
so it'll be 11 and 27.
I mean 11 and 27?
Yeah, I would take 11 and 27 in a heartbeat. Okay, so let's make that happen. And then other teams. Oh, my team's Arizona. So if they go 11 and 27 to move up to 9.
They have the 23rd pick too?
From
What?
Cleveland. So I think that happened. That came from Houston from last year's trade, right? Remember when they traded out at 2 or whatever, out at whatever. Right. So that's Houston's pick via Cleveland.
How old is this one?
So we'll just force this trade through. It doesn't make any sense. I don't know why they would give up that much to move up 2 spots, but let's say they do.
To get their wide receiver.
All right.
A wide receiver that they could have picked up. A wide receiver that they could have drafted themselves.
Yes. But now they picked up extra trade capital.
But they just gave it away, so that doesn't make sense. Yeah. It doesn't make sense for them to drop all the way down.
More than
11.
They would have got more than just 27.
Yeah, they would have got.
We only did that.
Yeah.
Well.
That way, they still keep 2 picks in the draft. They still get the wide receiver that they wanted, that they were going to get. And they got the 23rd pick.
It doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to trade them back here real fast. I think that, let's say it was going to happen. Let's say it was the Cardinals that were going to come back up because they were going to do like they did last year. They give up 11 for 9, obviously. And then I think they would give up 35. Or maybe 66.
Okay.
Like I don't like moving up 2 spots.
Yeah, to move 2 space shouldn't cost that much.
So it's not going to be any of those things. That's why
But 35 is not a bad pick too. It's early first round, early second round.
I don't. That's why I don't.
You wouldn't take 35 either.
I don't think they give up that. I don't think they give up that pick.
But in this one, they have 2 more picks.
They have 2 more first rounds
in the first round.
I just don't see that happen. That's why.
I think if they trade down out of 4 and they have the ability to trade back up with all the picks they have, I don't see why they wouldn't do that. They would have got capital plus got the player that they was already going to get.
But you need to have a willing trade partner, and I don't think the Bears are that.
You do have to have. That's why I was asking. Why wouldn't you trade that pick to somebody if you were going to get more picks as well? Because you don't have a pick later on. Because Malik Neighbors is that way.
If Malik Neighbors or Roman Dunze are sitting there at 9, I think the Bears run to the podium. They don't wait for the 15 minutes. Like the pick is do. The pick is in as soon as their name is made available. I mean, it just has to be.
No, I just.
There's the only people that would trade up here are people that would want a wide receiver.
Yeah,
and that's it.
And the Atlanta Arizona Cardinals are ringing to me, especially if they did not take their pick from the beginning. If they didn't take 4 to pick that wide receiver and they traded down with the Vikings, then I just don't. This gives them the opportunity to go back up and get the player that they were going to get at 4 plus more picks.
Yeah.
In this situation, if you have a willing trade partner, and I don't see why the Bears wouldn't be a willing trade partner.
I think the Bears are in the business of taking the best player at the spot, and in our scenario, that's Malik Neighbors, and that's what they do. And then of course, Roma Dunze goes to the Jets, and Arizona's back on the clock.
And now Arizona's mad.
I don't think they're that mad because they have, according to PFF, many needs.
Many needs.
So I mean, it could be anybody, but
they just don't go wide receiver now at this point in time. Now you've got 2 more picks in the first round.
Because then you
can pick any one of those
here.
other ones. Yes.
Because I guarantee one of them sitting there. we'll just give him the kid from Illinois, the defensive lineman, and then we'll see what happens. Because now they're there, and Brian Thomas Jr. went at wide receiver in pick 22. The Eagles took him.
Scroll up though, because where's Xavier Worthy? Did he go too? No, he didn't. So
yeah, he's not down. He's down there.
No, he's way down.
Right. So yeah, then the Broncos went tackle. Raiders went tackle. Saints went tackle. And then edge tackle. Lots of tackles, man. And then what do? Oh, man. Now they're in a spot. They have lots of holes. So one of them's cornerback, so they take this cornerback. Because they know that. But, man, they're sitting with a wide receiver because they still pick again at 35. Oh,
yep.
But
the Cowboys went with a cornerback?
Man, but look at all the needs the Cowboys have on there. It's a lot.
It is.
So let's say they.
And that's crazy for a team that won 12 games last year.
To be sitting with
12 needs.
Six visible needs on PFF. Usually that's like the Bears. Yeah, I like that top 10. Caleb, Jaden, Drake, JJ, Alt, Marvin Harrison, Olu, Dallas Turner, Malik Neighbors, Roma Dunze. I think this could very well happen.
I don't see Malik Neighbors staying all the way to 9.
Me neither, but if it does, I'll take it.
You shouldn't take him. That should just be, you should be, as a GM, I'd be salivating for the opportunity to get in that trade away.
No.
Because I've already got I've got DJ Moore, I've got Keenan Allen. Yes, Keenan Allen's a rental player. He's a 1-year player. But so what? I can get a wide receiver.
Get 5 years of blue chip wide receiver guaranteed for you. For your 5 years of blue chip quarterback.
But for 1 year, I'm gonna be wondering what I'm supposed to do. Yeah. Well, Caleb, how can you throw it to all these guys, Caleb?
Now here's a situation I've never heard of. 3 wide receivers on the field at once. Now it is the Bears, but it's not the same old Bears from 1962, right? You can run 3 wide receivers out there. You can run pass plays. It happens. The Bears can do it too.
That would be great for you guys.
One of the best things you can do for your young quarterback is give him protection and give him receivers.
Mm-hmm. He has receivers.
You can never have enough. And now Keenan Allen. When's the last time Keenan Allen played a full season?
That's true. That's true. I got it. About to die.
No.
Back, I'm here.
Yeah.
Keenan Allen, yes, he cannot play a full season, but you don't need Malik also.
So yeah, no, I'm not going to have somebody tell me that the Bears have too many weapons. Not happening. Listen. Last year, it was supposed to be the Bears have, how is Justin Fields going to pass to DJ Moore and Chase Claypool and Darnell Mooney?
Let me be one on the record. I never thought that was a stacked wide receiver.
Oh, boy. You didn't talk to Bears fans last year. And then 2 years ago, oh, boy. What are we going to do? This is going to be so terrible for Justin Fields because Luke Getsy's going to get all these head coaching offers after 1 year of turning the Bears around. Like, I'm not even joking. Bears fans are fucking delusional, right? You're not going to tell me.
Like getting Malik Neighbors at 9?
There's nothing delusional about that. I'm telling you, if Malik Neighbors is there at 9, you take him. If Rome Odunze is there at 9, you take him. You run to the podium and you put the card in. You make sure there's no possible errors. Like you're calling that kid. Like it's almost like, and Caleb Williams is going to be like this too. Remember that guy that won the first Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? He was the first millionaire, and he
Yeah, he
called
called,
his
used the
dad
phone
for
call to
the.
call his.
It's like, hey, I'm going to be a
Yeah.
millionaire. It's going to be a lot like that for both of them. Hey, you know, like they know what they're doing. They know what the call is, and they're expecting the call. I'm going to tell you what, if Malik Neighbors is there at 9, he knows that the little Bears logo is going to pop up on his phone. He's going to get that call.
The logos, that's how it works.
He's got it programmed in.
I've never had the Bears call me, so I didn't know that the logos of the teams
Mm-hmm.
call you. When
They're
you're
always
supposed to
calling
show
me.
a
I'll
phone.
tell you what. I answer most
Asking
of
for
them.
tips, and you just tell them, "Listen, it's easy. If Neighbors is there, you take them." That's
And they would say,
crazy.
I agree. There's just no getting around it.
I don't see what. I don't know. I just can't. I can't see it.
I can.
That's
I have like vision boarded it. I can see it happening. Um, yeah. I don't see why you don't do it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm good with that. I'm also good with the Giants taking JJ McCarthy too at 6. So
no, I'm not good with that. That is a worse. That is a worse nightmare for me. I don't feel. I'm not opposed to getting rid of Daniel Jones. I'm not that. I don't think there is a quarterback in this draft that I feel comfortable getting rid of Daniel Jones for. I can't get Caleb Williams. Maybe Caleb, but I'm not a huge Caleb guy. But even then, if we had the number 1 pick, I'd be saying Caleb Williams, screaming his name. That's what I'd have. But besides him, I don't see someone that's going to come in and just make us not have 56, 66 sacks on the season. I don't see that person
that
in
is
the
part of it.
draft that's going to stop. It's going to stop us from giving up 66. He was on pace for the worst sack record before he got injured. If he didn't get injured, he was breaking the record.
And that's why he got injured.
That's why he got injured. Before the ACL problem, he had a neck problem. What are you going to do? You're just killing. You're getting this guy killed every week and then blaming him for being bad.
Yep.
Every week he's out there running for his life. Literally, he had a neck problem. It's not the first neck problem he's had. He has multiple neck problems. You know what that means? He's getting hit way too many times.
Yeah, and like, God, that's the life that as a Bears fan I've lived for a long time. Like even Jay Cutler. Like I still remember when the day the Giants murdered Jay Cutler. And that Bears fans said that. Oh, he got sacked 11 times. That's Jay Cutler sucks.
Exactly. Did you see what Evan Neal was doing over there? Like, did you see what was going on that side? And it was, I hate to just say his name because it was a lot of mistakes going around the board. They started the season and their left tackle was injured.
Yep.
So didn't help from there on. Getting beat 44 almost nothing or whatever 40-0 by the Cowboys game 1 didn't help.
That helps no.
He got sacked, I think 10 games. He got sacked 10 times in that game. That's when we knew, oh boy, it's gonna be a tough season. This is gonna be a tough season.
Now I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but this week, I still think that Dak Prescott is a free agent at the end of the season.
He can't be. I've heard more and more people talking. He can't.
He's going to be. And he is going to have. How many teams are going to be after Dak Prescott if he's a free agent next year? A lot, right?
A lot. Unless you picked up a quarterback in this draft, and that quarterback better be damn good. Because let's say you're one of those people that got Bo Nix or Michael Penix Jr. thinking he was going to start. If Dak is up there, he's going to be sitting on the bench for a little bit longer.
What if you're the Giants?
Right. If you're the Giants, he's definitely an option. He's definitely an option. But I don't know if we could financially do it. Because you would still have about 30-something million on the books for your quarterback who's no longer the team, Dave Jones. even though we do have an out after this next year, we're still on the book for I think like 30 mil that year.
Yeah, let's look at that. Would you, as a Giants fan, embrace
In free
Dick?
agency, he becomes the highest paid
Yes,
quarterback in the
yes.
league. Yeah, no.
If the Giants cut Daniel Jones after the season, he's only 22 million in dead cap.
22 million.
Only, which is a lot,
Mm-hmm. But not for a
but not for
quarterback.
a quarterback. So you're just sitting there with 22 mil dead, untouchable.
And then you still have to spend all your money, which is going to look at 60 mil a year that you can kick down the road a
Yeah, you
little
spread that
bit.
out somehow.
You spread it out a little bit, but he's 60 mil a year. Whoever gets Dak Prescott has got to be willing to pay $60 million per
Mm-hmm.
for him. It we are not in the we're financially it'll be a hit.
Oh well, yeah. For
And
anybody, it's a
unless
hit.
and unless our team has gotten significantly better, okay. The only way the Giants are in the mix for them is if they're somehow drafting in the position where they're drafting this year. Sixth. If we stink and we've got a high draft pick, we're taking our chances in the draft. Financially, it's just a better setup. Because if we truly, truly stink, we're more than just a quarterback away. We're not a quarterback away.
Yeah. Whew.
He would be a nice to have or a team that is missing. Who's missing the quarterback? The Miami Dolphins? Would the Miami Dolphins get rid of Tua and bring in a
I think
Dak
they're going to
Prescott?
extend to it. He's on his 5th year right now. I imagine
Would I'm trying to think of a team that
Broncos.
if the Las Vegas Raiders don't get their quarterback this year, are they ones?
Raiders. What about the Saints? What are they?
The Saints would probably be close to ending their the Derek Carr.
Derek Carr. You see.
What about letting Matt Stafford? No, you wouldn't let Matt Stafford retire and then bring it in. That cap hit is just it's
Yeah,
heavy.
for sure.
Seattle,
Maybe. But I mean, if
they would
he's a
have
free agent,
DK Metcalf and Jigba.
that's a nice.
That's the nice little combo.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just trying to think. The Broncos, but the Broncos, they couldn't do that again. They wouldn't do it again, would they? they wouldn't
might.
double down on stupidity.
Who else? Who else? Where? The Jets.
I'm gonna tell you a name. No, they
Why?
can't. They're stuck. The Browns. I mean,
Oh,
the
the Browns
Browns. I was
can't.
thinking
No.
the Browns. They're stuck.
Yeah,
they're stuck.
They can't do anything because nobody wants Deshaun Watson. They can't cut Deshaun Watson because it's all guaranteed. So they have Deshaun Watson. That's their own doing, and I love that. I
Yes.
love how delicious that is. The Jets could take Dak Prescott.
Arizona Cardinals.
Eh,
I don't know where Kylo is in his contract.
Let's find out. Kyler Murray. Where is he? I know he's got a huge contract though, right?
He had a huge contract, but that seems like it was like 3 years ago.
His potential out is until 2028. So if they cut him next year,
he must have signed an extension recently.
63 million dead cap next year.
He'll be there. He'll be there. So we can just throw that out.
Yeah, I guess he's
He'll
potential
still
out
be
for
there.
2025. He'd be 20 million in dead cap then. But his deal goes till 2028.
There's no way. I still hold not hope, but I think the smart move is they're gonna have to sign him. That's it. You would think it would have been done by now, but they can't. There's nothing that they can't. They cannot do it.
You'd think they would have extended him this year to spread out his cap hit from this year to help them sign players for this year. But they didn't do that. And now they're in a position where they have 6 needs showing up on the PFF board, which is a lot. So maybe it was 7.
It's a lot for a team with 12 wins and it was a playoff team.
They actually won a playoff game last year. Didn't they? No,
What are their
they
alternatives? No,
lost
they
to
lost.
Tampa Bay.
They
Yeah.
got beat by no, they lost to the
Oh yeah,
Packers.
that's right. It was the Packers.
They
That's
lost.
right.
Eagles lost to the
That's right.
Tampa Bay. The what do they do? Like you can't be that short sighted, right? You can't be. If they don't sign him, what are you gonna do? Like throw Trey Lance out there, who's unsigned. You still gotta find. Then you gotta sign
Yeah,
Trey
they're not going to
Lance.
pick up Trey Lance's fifth-year option because he's a third pick, and it'd be like a $23 million cap hit. They're not going to do that. I don't know what they do.
That's what I'm saying. There's no
But
options. They're not going to lose 10 games this season with Dak Prescott as their quarterback. So they're looking at picking exactly where they're picking now.
the thing is, they can't franchise him because he's $40 million in dead cap for next year, right? So they have $40 million dead cap, and the franchise tag would add $60 million on it, so that'd be $100 million tied up in Dak Prescott.
In one player.
What? Yeah, not gonna do that.
Yeah, in one player. Yeah. No, they can't, their options are sign him or relegate to trash for the foreseeable future. I just don't. It's just not smart. It's not smart business. There's no one on that roster who can be a starting quarterback.
I don't understand why they didn't do it this year. Now he will be 32 next year, which isn't old, but it's starting to get there ish.
He got a contract, maybe 2 contracts left in him. A 3-year deal and then another 3-year deal.
He's probably got a good 4-year deal in him. That's what you get. Maybe a 4 or a 5.
Yeah, that's long term. Then he doesn't get another contract in there.
But I mean, I'd take that because it's a big cash up front, 5-year deal.
It just doesn't make sense. They're trying to play hardball with the guy who's holding pocket aces. Like
that's true.
Like barring something tragic happening to him on the injury front, on the free market, he's $60 million a year. You got to sign me for $60 million, and then if you don't, because you felt like kicking this down the road, you're hurting next year. You can't sign anybody. So even if there becomes another free agent quarterback becomes available, you can't get him. You have to roll Trey Lance out there, or you like Tommy Cutlets. You like him. Like you have to. Now you're scraping the bottom for a quarterback on a team that you've been building for the playoffs. You've been building a team for the playoffs, and now you have no quarterback for that team. You'll be done for 5 to 10 years. They have to. If they don't, I'm going to laugh at them. And I'll have fun laughing at them.
I'm going to tell you what. So I'm going to do the poker analogy. I'm trying to think what it is. So Dak has pocket aces. Jerry has pocket eights. The flop is ace jack 8, right? Like the worst thing you can possibly imagine for pocket 8. You're like, yeah, I'm sitting with 3 of a kind. And then like the turn is like a 2, but then the river is an ace. So now you're like, I got a full house, 8s over aces. Like I can't lose this. I can't lose this. And Dak has 4 of a kind.
Four of a kind. You are going into this negotiation behind because of your mismanagement earlier on.
Yep.
Right. You can't just keep piling dumb on top of that. Rip the Band-Aid off, pay the man his money, and let him retire a cowboy if he's gonna do it. Right? Because you're so invested in him. Because you chose to do that. You could have gone and been looking elsewhere for players. You could have been trying to get a legitimate backup behind him. You could have been doing multiple things. But the Trey Lance move, and apparently Trey Lance is the 3rd quarterback on that team. He's not even the number 2.
Yeah.
Like, and they gave a 3rd-round pick for him.
They gave a 5th. Yeah.
Was it a 5th?
They gave up more for Trey Lance than the Steelers gave up for Justin Fields.
Yes.
The
4th. It was the 4th. It was the 4th. We were right missed in the middle. Yep. Trey Lance, San Francisco Niners trading quarterback Trey Lance to the Dallas Cowboys in exchange for a 4th-round pick.
Crazy.
Justin Fields could be a 4th-round pick, but he has to play.
I think he will. He'll be the starter.
He'll
be the starter.
He's not starting. You're hoping now. This is the hope.
You think that he's going to start
over
with anything.
Russell Wilson?
And it doesn't have anything to do with bias or anything like that. I think Arthur Blank, that's who it is, right? Arthur
Blank is the owner of
who is
of the Atlanta Falcons.
The former head coach of the Atlanta Falcons?
Arthur Smith,
who is now the offensive coordinator of the Steelers, is a Justin Fields fan. I'm telling you, I think I think, yes, Russell Wilson, they're going to say those things. I think it is Justin Fields' job to take, and he'll take it.
He'd have to take it.
And it's going to happen.
And I don't see take it in Justin Fields, especially not from an all-pro quarterback.
Well, 4 or 5 years removed from all-pro.
Yeah, but he's still got that in him.
Maybe, yeah.
A man who threw 30 touchdowns last year.
I'm telling you.
It would be hard. He would have to play the best football he's ever played in his life.
I don't see how that's not
and
possible.
Even then,
I think it's totally possible.
Even then, Russ playing at mediocre Russ level is still probably better
than Justin Fields has been. I'm just telling you. I feel it's one of those things. Just call it a gut.
I can see a world where he's competing for a starting position next year. I cannot see him competing for a starting position this year.
He'll be starting.
The only way he could start is if something happens to Russell Wilson.
Yeah, okay. It's going to happen. He's going to be starting. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. And he's going to take the damn Steelers to the playoffs.
Well, so did Pickett. So did Mason Rudolph. Saying he's going to take the Steelers to the playoffs isn't saying much. Me and you probably at quarterback could take the Steelers to the playoffs.
But I Justin Fields couldn't do it with the Bears, but he's going to do it with the Steelers in first try.
Steelers are different.
It's going to happen.
Franchise.
I know.
They're different.
I know, but it's going to be one of those things. It's going to be like everybody's going to be like, Jesus Christ. And the Bears will probably miss the playoffs. And they'll be like, see, we gave it the playoffs. Williams.
If they miss the playoffs with DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Neighbors, Jesus.
They're not missing the playoffs next year. No matter what that 9th pick is, they're making the playoffs. Unless there's going to be like just crazy injury or something like
that. Listen, y'all, the AFC North, the NFC North is becoming a tough division.
Yeah.
You know where you know who I think is coming out there.
And it won't be them. The Packers are going to lose probably. How many games are in a season?
17.
Yeah, they're going to be the first 0-17 team next year.
Oh, okay. All right. That's not saying it's not possible. Then you got to get past Detroit.
Yeah, they're going to be the first team to go 0-16 twice, and then 0-16-1. So,
they tie with somebody, and they're going to be the Packers because the Packers
went tie one game with the Vikings.
The Vikings,
and don't tell me how it's going to happen because the Vikings are going to go 0-16-1-2, and you're like, how does that happen? Because they got to play each other multiple times. I'm like, no, everybody loses.
Wait, you can't go because that means they would have had to be.
They're going to tie one game with the Lions. They're going to lose both games to the Packers. But the Packers are also going to lose both games to the Vikings. It's don't tell me how it's going to work. It's just going to happen.
It's just those are numbers. It's mad. I still got the Packers. I got the Lions at number 2 in that division and coming up 3. Not saying that they won't
Yeah,
make the
I know
playoffs.
it is a pretty tough division.
That 1, 2, 3 could make
Sure,
the playoffs.
but particularly because the NFC
But
West is lacking at times, the NFC East is lacking at times, and the South is just a garbage pile. So yeah, I mean anything's possible. I think the Bears make the playoffs next year.
mhm,
Um,
it's possible. It's tough. Like I said, I still got y'all third
yep.
in the division.
I'm telling you, Dak Prescott is going to be a free agent, and he is going.
He
I'm
cannot.
telling you, mark it down. Like the Chargers are taking Joe Alt. The Falcons are going defense, and Dak Prescott's going to be a free agent.
He, if he is, it'd be one of the
Oh,
dumbest
I'm
moves.
not arguing that. I'm just telling you he is, and I think Jerry Jones is hubris. He thinks in his mind he did it once, he can do it again. Like Tony Romo was like a 28th round pick, and Dak Prescott's a 4th round pick, right? He thinks he's gonna probably take a quarterback this year, and or he's gonna thinks he's gonna make Trey Lance a pro. Like he's the mastermind. It's gonna happen. I'm telling you.
That's where he at that point in time gets massive arguments from the players. There's no way that CD Lamb sees Trey Lance says that's my future quarterback. There's no
You
way
don't
he
know.
sees that after coming from
No,
that.
I'm just telling you. I think it's what's gonna happen. And people.
That team, they had them at wide receiver needs. Still have CD
Mm-hmm.
Lamb. Still have Brandon Cooks.
Mm-hmm.
Like they don't have Michael Gallup
Nope.
anymore. But those two guys, you would say that one of their top needs is wide receiver. Did that list also have them as needing a cornerback?
Yep. So
They have they're paying what's the name money?
uh-huh.
Diggs money at
Yep.
cornerback. They have is Deron Bland a safety or is he another cornerback? I think
Let's
might be a
see.
corner. They just picked him up like last year, round 6, and the
Yep.
man.
He's listed as a quarterback, but he only his salary is less than $1 million this year.
Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't say cornerbacks in a position of
Mm-hmm.
need with the talent that they already have. So like, I don't know. D line, they definitely need someone on. They need a nose tackle or a big guy up front
Isn't that who
to
Demarcus
defensive
Lawrence is?
tackle. No,
Oh yeah,
he's their
he's their edge.
edge.
Yeah. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
well, they drafted that.
He's a
They
traditional
drafted
defensive
Mozzie
end.
Smith last year out of Michigan in the first round. He's a big nose tackle. Uh,
But then why were they so bad at
well,
the
because
run?
he was a rookie.
So they gotta stop. They gotta stop those runs. I heard somebody say that their linebacker core is so suspect, and that's what's killing them on the
Yeah,
run.
I'm
And teams are exploiting them in the linebacker position.
looking at their linebackers. Demarion Overshone, he's a rookie or was a rookie.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh boy, these names: Demarion Overshone, Damone Clark, Buddy Johnson, and Eric
Buddy.
Kendricks. That's the linebackers they have on.
So they don't have Micah listed as a
Well,
linebacker.
on Sport Track they have him listed as a defensive end, but I think that Jerry Jones was trying to list him as a linebacker because it's got a smaller franchise tag.
Franchise tag and not pool of money, but either way, he'd be the highest paid linebacker. But the highest paid linebacker is not the same as the highest paid defensive
But
end.
he's an edge that plays. He
He's an
plays
edge.
linebacker. He's an edge in the 3-4, so he plays linebacker. He plays either side, right? So, uh,
He'd be a small edge on a 4-3.
yeah, he's not a hand on the ground. Uh,
Then you can't make him a defensive end. He's got to be a
but he's an edge. He's an
linebacker.
edge rusher, though. Yeah,
He's an edge. He's an
he's
edge
like
rusher.
Lawrence
But
Taylor. Lawrence Taylor
that's
never
the
played with his hand on the ground, but he was always
no. But he was an official linebacker though. He- but
yeah.
They can't. They can't do
Khalil
that.
Mack's
They
another guy that's
can't.
like that too. Khalil Mack is not a hand on the ground guy. He's a edge rusher, but he's a linebacker.
But I think of, but he's bigger. I think of Micah Parsons as like a wiry kind of guy.
He's fast for
He
sure.
played linebacker. He played linebacker in college, and they didn't know where he'd be. They thought linebacker or safety when he first got out of Penn State.
Well, that was Brian Urlacher was drafted as a safety. Let's see. Shoot, he's not that wiry. He's 245 pounds.
Yeah, it's still like linebacker esque versus the 260 that I want at my defensive end. Let me see. What's DeMarcus Lawrence comes in? It's height and weight. Yeah, they got him at 6'3", 251, so he's not much smaller,
Yeah.
bigger than Micah.
Well, I'd take him whatever position he wanted to play at. That's fine. Yeah. Well, Micah Parsons 6'3", 245, right? Position called an
Yeah.
outside linebacker though, but he's an edge rusher.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think it'd be dumb. Be dumb to let that man go to free agency. Like really dumb. I can see it happening, but it's just I just don't think they're that dumb. They're not. They don't do really dumb moves. Now I think they do some dumb moves, which force them to make moves that they have to make, like the whole Zeke Elliott contract being held to the fire, then pushing the which then pushed uh Dak's contract down the road, which then got Dak paid more than he probably should have, because if they did it the year before, he wouldn't have got the money that he did. And that was just bad timing on when to start negotiating contracts for people. They let Zeke Elliott hold them over the coals in his third year.
That's good for Zeke.
It was great for Zeke, dumb for the Cowboys for
recording
letting him do
stopped.
that. Oh, the recording stopped.
Oh no, the disk space is insufficient. Oh, I gotta clean up all the old stuff. Well, there we go. That ends that.
Are we streaming still, or is it just?
Oh well.
Yeah.
I mean, the Cowboys are still listed at 10.5 wins.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, they'll have 10.5 wins with Dak, but then their next season, they're Dakless.
Yep.
And with no high draft pick, with no one already with no money in the bank, you ain't got no money because he's dead cap, and you don't have any backups. So, and yet you just paid CeeDee Lamb, because you're gonna have to pay CeeDee Lamb, unless you decide, and Micah, unless you decide when Dak is done, we're destroying this whole team, which is then really dumb.
Because they'll be in a position where they'll have 4 guys at maximum value style contracts with Diggs, Micah, CeeDee Lamb, and Dak Prescott and DeMarcus Lawrence.
DeMarcus Lawrence, they'll probably get rid of him. They'll probably let his contract drop out. He's the one person in that group that is probably you can let go and be like, okay, it stinks, but you can probably let him go. They've already started letting go some of their offensive linemen. They was it Lyle Collinsworth? They let Tyron Smith go. Some of their top linemen they had to let go due to salary restrictions. So, good luck. You're gonna have. There's no way. At that point in time, you might have to let what's his name go too, the cornerback
Diggs.
You got to do something. You can't pay everybody max top of the league salaries.
I mean, they had 5 guys that equaled like $200 million between the 5, right?
Yep. And it got them, at least it's paying for playoffs, not playoff wins, but paying for the playoffs for the Cowboys. Yeah. Chargers have got the top 4 seed and the top 4 pick.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah.
Not good. Not good.
Yeah, mark my words, he'll be a free agent.
Bad for
I know
business.
it's dumb. I know it's dumb. Just telling you. Doesn't make any sense.
They have to. It makes zero sense. But the fact that he's not extended right
Makes
now
even less
makes zero
sense.
sense.
The fact that they didn't do anything to try to alleviate that for their immediate needs, which are plenty, makes less than 0 cents.
Yeah. That so them free, even though it makes no sense, it seems like it's going to be par for the course at this point in time.
I'm telling you, I think Jerry thinks he's smarter than everybody else in the NFL. And I think that's going to happen.
But get who though?
Trey Lance. It's going to be Trey Lance.
Don't have. Not gonna be Trey Lance. They don't have a running back. Just think about this. 2 years ago, they had Ezekiel Elliott and Pollard. They said, Zeke, you cost too much money. You gotta go. We're going with Pollard. 1 year later, Pollard, you can go. And now they have no one.
They have no running back. They have a wide receiver. Their offensive line is less than it was. Their
linebacker core is still nothing.
Linebacker.
They're probably thin at safety.
So it's interesting. We'll see what happens. But I'm going to tell you, I guarantee there's a point in this season that if Dak Prescott struggles, even like
they'll throw Trey Lance
is going to go in there. And if Trey Lance is okay, it's going to be like, I don't know. I got this quarterback. I'm telling you, because he did it with Romo and Dak, and he did it with Romo and whoever was before Romo. Aikman? Did they push out Aikman for Romo?
No. They had
Drew Bledsoe, right?
Drew Bledsoe when Romo was there.
So it's just going to happen.
First of all, also another thing. If they have to go to Trey Lance for any reason, now you're going into the offseason. Looking for a new coach as well, because Mike McCarthy's gone. So new coach, a new quarterback that you hope is
so let's
Trey
say this
Lance.
happens. Because it's happened like the last 3 seasons. Dak misses a few games because of an injury. Breaks his thumb on a helmet, does whatever. And Trey Lance comes in. Because remember when Cooper Rush came in, they went 3-1 with Cooper Rush. Everybody's like, whoa, maybe Cooper Rush is the new quarterback and Dak Prescott. Well, that's just silly because it's whatever.
He's under contract for $60 million.
Let's say Dak. Let's say week 8. The Cowboys are 7-1, 6-2. Dak gets hurt. Trey Lance comes in for 4 weeks, and they win all 4 games. Trey Lance is never coming out. Dak Prescott's gone.
Never coming out.
Yep.
Dak Prescott's gone. They would, at that point in time, would have found a way to do it. Still don't think it's the smart move, but if the team is winning with him, no way Dak comes in. No way Dak comes in. Because then you've basically got an out. That would be you getting absolutely lucky. There would be nothing planned. That was not a planned maneuver. You absolutely.
But now they have to negotiate with
like I said,
Trey Lance.
Sure. My negotiations start maybe Daniel Jones money.
Jordan Love money would probably be what it would be.
Isn't Jordan Love still? Did they extend him?
They didn't pick up his 5th year, but then they gave him.
But they only gave him 2 years. They gave him this weird 2-year deal.
God, I hope Jordan Love has a good year this year, not in the way that. I don't want him to have a good year, but I hope that he does
good enough that they force
to sign him for a bunch of money,
him,
and then he goes bad. That's what I hope happens. And he seems like a perfectly nice individual, but I hope that's what happens.
It's not his fault. It's not his fault for putting on that jersey. He got drafted there, but hey, now that you earn it, you earn every bit that comes with that jersey.
If they sign him again, then there is a near 100% chance that there's some kind of he's just a terrible human being. Like it's going to have to happen, right? So you went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers. then we're going to have to find out that Jordan Love, like, I don't know. I don't even know. I don't want to,
You don't even want to put that
but
on him.
something will make him a terrible human being. Guaranteed.
if Trey Lance turns out to be a baller, but would they put him in the game? He's the number 3 quarterback. He may not even suit up for the game that they actually need him for. They would have to skip over someone else, Cooper Rush, to get him in the game.
It's going to happen. I'm telling you. I can feel it. I can taste it in the air.
Okay. I said, I truly hope they just keep Dak Prescott.
Yeah, they should.
Although he's the best option, I kind of know that he's just a playoff and he's a one and done kind of guy.
In the regular season,
gonna make the playoffs. He does.
Like Aaron Rodgers only went in one Super Bowl
consistently.
But
he went to that one.
Yeah, but he was there for like 20 years.
If I had to,
right, and all he did was win. Like he just beat the crap out of the Bears every year.
But he also beat the crap out of teams in the playoffs, right? If he was playing the Cowboys, he did. If he played the NFC Championship games, they've gone to it's when I watched the Dallas Cowboys in the playoffs, they could have the first week bye. They could be the best team in the NFC. Week 2, they're losing. Week 2, they're losing.
Well, yeah, they haven't gone to an NFC Championship since the 90s. So
exactly, this is what I can count on. That wasn't the case. You had to hope and pray. I don't even have to hope and pray. It just is what it is. So that's why I hope that he stays there, because I like him as a player. But for whatever reason, he just can't do it on that when he was wearing that star. But it's not just him.
Nope.
Romo couldn't do it. It's not like they had other people who went to the NFC Championship. They blamed Dak, but no one's done it since Troy. It's like you can't call Dak bad. Is Dak the reason why we're losing? Was he the reason Tony lost too?
Fumbled that snap on the. Oh God!
I love it. And
that's all. From a playing perspective, I don't remember anything else about his career other than he broke his neck 6 times, and he fumbled that snap. That's it.
And then the next year, T.O. cried about him. It's my quarterback. I love it. There are a few things that bring me more joy than there are a few things. They're usually related to my family that bring me more joy. But when it's not family related, T.O. crying.
Wife, kids, T.O. crying. Those are.
I had a friend say, he was like, we never saw any tears come out of T.O.'s eyes. I was like, because he was wearing those glasses. But his lip did that quiver, that children's, when you tell him to stop crying, they go,
yep.
That's even worse. I'd have rather seen tears than the lip quiver.
What are you gasping for there, T.O.? It's my quarterback.
Listen, don't blame him for this. This is the team loss. Yeah, it was, but come on, blame the quarterback. That Seattle one where he dropped the ball was probably that started the ball roll. They never stopped. It kept rolling.
All right. Well, you know what's got to stop?
Got to stop this recording.
Already stopped.
Well, the recording already stopped. The
recording already stopped. I gotta.
Yep.
I gotta think of new ways that Malik Neighbors falls to 9. Because it's happening.
I think the way you just came up with is probably it's doable.
I think one of those two is going to be there, Roma Dunze or Malik Neighbors, and it'll probably be a Dunze because I think Neighbors will be gone by 6.
That's saying that one of those teams want to trade with somebody. And they don't want to hold steady. If they hold steady, then they got to be taking wide receivers.
Wide receiver is a sexy pick, so we value it more. But I think everybody's boards will shake out differently, and they'll value their players the way they need to value them. And I would not be surprised to see Roma Dunze at 9, for sure.
You'd have to get them to trade. You'd have to get them to trade because neither one of them wanted a
Yeah,
quarterback. So neither one of them are going to take uh
yeah.
McCarthy
Well,
or
maybe
whoever
they
it
don't
is.
value the wide receiver spot there like we're valuing the wide receiver spot there.
Team, you've made me a believer. The Chargers
Yep, I'm
probably
telling you,
don't
there's
value a
no
wide
way they're
receiver.
taking wide receiver.
You've made
Mm-hmm.
me a believer. But that's still
Yeah.
only one, and that means that would mean that the Cardinals still took a wide
What if they don't?
receiver. That's the part. Like I said, you've made me a believer at
Yeah,
the Chargers probably taking
I don't
a
have a good
tackle.
argument for the Cardinals not taking a wide receiver there unless they trade out, and they would have to.
Mhm.
That's it. No, it'll happen.
Trading out, but there's also the Patriots possibly taking a wide receiver, doing something very foolish. And I don't think it's that foolish. I
I
don't
think
think it's
it's
that
way
foolish.
more foolish than you. That team is decimated, and I don't think a wide receiver moves the needle at all for them.
That team has not had a wide receiver since
I understand
Randy
that,
Moss.
but I don't think getting a top wide receiver moves the needle for them because I think they have so many holes, including quarterback. But yeah,
It's a huge hole.
but we'll see.
Huge hole. Maybe they throw Bailey
I don't
Zappi
think Bailey
out there.
Zappi's even on the team anymore. Yeah,
He may not be on. I don't know who. I don't even
they
know
got
who's on the
Jacoby
team
Brissett, and
anymore.
that's it.
I thought you just put Jacoby Brissett
No, he's on the
on a
Patriots.
different team.
Almost positive of that.
Oh,
That was their yeah.
their backup.
That was
Yeah,
oh no, he's on the Colts. Well,
I was about to say we just talked about them being
who
on
the
a
hell
different
is on
team.
New England then? Because they signed a quarterback. Who did they sign? Ugh,
No, because
no.
Jets signed Tyrod Taylor as their backup.
Who do they have? I'm all confused. No, yeah. Patriots new quarterback, Jacoby Brissett.
It says this says this New England depth chart update is 328 now. Of course, it's just for say
Yeah.
Jacoby Brissett, Bailey Zappi, and
And they
Nathan
traded Mac
Rourke.
Jones for a 6th-round pick to the
Mm-hmm.
Jags. Jacoby Brissett was on the Colts last year. I don't know where Jacoby Brissett was at. I don't know why when I Googled Jacoby Brissett, it shows him in a damn Colts jersey. Yeah, New England Patriots quarterback. He's
Man, I look at this team, dude. I
New
look at this
England?
team. I'd roll with Jacoby Brissett one year and then go get one of those wide receivers because this is not good.
No, yeah, they're not good at all. But there's so many holes. Official team roster, and they're better on defense than they are on offense.
That was also with Bill
Mm-hmm.
coaching the defense. So it's still yet to be see how they do with Gerard
Yeah,
Mayo.
that'll be interesting too. Yeah,
So,
we'll see. I think they're either taking quarterback or they're trading out of there. But I'm pretty sure they'll take quarterback.
trading out of there wouldn't be a bad choice.
I just don't know why they would pass on a quarterback if it's there.
That
And you
doesn't make
can't be like,
sense.
well, we'll
It
just be
does.
really bad and be in the top next year. You know, and you can't bank on that.
You can. There's sometimes
Yeah,
you can
that's
bank
true.
on it. There's sometimes you can bank on it, and you can
Yeah.
bank on it.
Well, you don't want to bank on it. You don't want to be bad.
Yeah, but then you're not doing your due diligence. If you can't look at the team that you got out there and be honest that we're not good, we will probably be drafting
Yeah.
higher again next year. Then I think you're not looking at yourself in the mirror. You're not being real with yourself. And then how can you build your team on that hope and prayers? I don't want to
I
build
mean,
on
you got to
that.
figure like even the worst teams got to go out and be like, yeah, we can win 6. Like even like
The
worst team,
worst
even
team,
the Panthers going into last year had to be like, We can get 6-7 wins, and they got 2, right?
In a bad division, you can get 6
Yep.
wins. In a
Yep.
bad division. In a good division, that goes
Yeah.
down by at least a
It
win, maybe
hurts.
2. They happen to be in the Panthers happen to be in a pretty bad division, but the Patriots are in a
Yeah.
good
On
division.
paper, yeah.
So to me, that hurts their stock because I don't see a win in that division. If they have a healthy Aaron Rodgers, the Jets can beat them every game. So can the Bills.
Yeah.
So can Miami. That's 6
Yeah.
losses already. Right? So it's difficult in a tough division to get 6 wins if
Even
you're a
when you're a
bad
bad team, you
team.
can usually eke out a divisional win at home. Yeah.
Maybe. And that gets you one.
Yeah.
That gets you one. But that's in a bad conference. Let's just put it this way. The Panthers were in a bad conference last year
Yeah.
and eked out, was it 3 wins, 4 wins?
2 wins.
2 wins. And they were division opponents. One
When they
was
beat Houston one game?
they beat Houston one game and then they beat one of the division. And that's a bad division. So it's going to be difficult. The Patriots are bad.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
They're
they're
bad.
terrible, yeah.
And they're in a good division. So 6 wins, I think, is
Now, the
way
Patriots had
above.
4 wins last year.
What did you say? And the Jets absolutely stunk.
Yeah, we'll see.
So we stink. Well, let's go for 2025, guys. You can't as the GM, you can't tell your head coach that his job is to win right now. Head coach job is to win right now. GM's job is to get a team to prepare them for the future to win, right?
And one of the best
That's
ways to
his
do that is
job.
to get your
So
quarterback if you have the opportunity. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens. But
Mhm.
we'll have to finish this another day.
They need this is the time, I think I said, this is the time of the football season I do not like.
I need to get to the draft. I need the draft to be tomorrow, but it's not.
It's not. It's not. So this is when TV has to formulate things to talk about, and that's why you hate it.
Absolutely hate it. All right, but we need to balance, Harland.
All right, man. Yep.
Oh, well, yeah, you definitely got to bounce. What are you doing?